Welcome to Toro Football TV once again, and it's your boy Tolulopo Delate, and it's a very beautiful Saturday morning, and we just thought about, no, we didn't actually think about it, Mr. Yao, but we're going to be doing the preview of Premier League matches for the weekend. It's a packed weekend in the Premier League, and there's no other place to start from but the big one of the weekend. But unfortunately, it's not even the weekend.
It's beginning on a Monday.
It's on a Monday evening. It's between Liverpool and Arsenal. But, I mean, just introduce yourself to our delightable friends.
Of course, hi everyone. My name is Yao. You're welcome to Toro Football TV.
Yeah, you didn't tell them you're the AC Milan
The
guru.
AC Milan guy.
Or let's say the Serie A guru. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. The big one.
The big one.
What are your thoughts?
Let me just begin like this. I've always noticed that for like 10 years, up till this time, we don't usually have something like this before, where we have the big matches coming up on match day 2, match day 3, sometimes even match day 1.
Yes.
You understand? They allow the season go, everybody
Before
gets
it
into
starts,
shape.
yes.
You now begin to see big matches like match day 10, match day 11,
9
and the rest of them.
like that.
But I remember last season when Manchester United played Chelsea. It was
Match day 1?
Match day 1, where they were defeated
4-0.
4-0. I mean, Chelsea was defeated
Chelsea
4-0.
was, true.
So it's good to see this type of fixture, so that at least the season will heat up. And
very quickly.
You understand, fans who everybody the banter and
all of that is happening already.
So it's a big one. And I've also noticed that the Premier League like feasting this type of matches sometimes late evenings on Sunday.
Yes, so that everyone is at home to see it.
Everyone is at home to see. And what the Serie A does, like the Serie A person that I am, they fix it late night on Sunday.
Yeah.
You understand? 8:45 kickoff.
Family time.
Exactly.
Everyone is at home. You can see it.
So there's no excuse for you not to
see the match.
Type of matches.
Yeah.
So it's a big one. It's a big one. What we just look forward to seeing is the battle of the attack and the defenses. Exactly. That's what we look forward to on Monday evening. The battle of the attack that has Aubameyang, Lacazette, Willian, and Pepe, and the other attack that has Mane, Salah, Firmino, with Diogo Jota joining the force and all that. So it's going to be a very, very, very interesting
one. I was going to ask you about something that a lot of people have been talking about. Do you actually think that all the plaudits coming Mikel Arteta's way? I mean, it came in mid-December, and just some 3 weeks ago, he was promoted from first-team coach to now being the manager. More of what Arsene Wenger was
then.
And you hear somebody like Vinay, who is the managing director of Arsenal, saying he's now doing the job of what you would call a manager. Because, I mean, him talking to people like Aubameyang to sign, convincing Saka to sign, you hear what the players are saying. William said he convinced him to join Arsenal. Is it getting too much plaudits for you? I know for a fact that you had your question marks while he was about to sign for Arsenal. And you were thinking Arsenal should have gone for Ancelotti instead of Arteta, Vieira and all of that. You actually thought he didn't have the grit. That's the word. To change, change the atmosphere at the club.
Because what we used to know Arsenal for then was that all those years after Arsene Wenger was a coach of Arsenal, they were usually known as the selfie boys. They just play neatly, they move the ball around.
Very nice.
Nobody wants to get dirty and all that. But if there is anything Arteta has brought to Arsenal, first I must admit that he proved me wrong. If there is anything he has brought to Arsenal, it is the fact that he has taught the boys how to win ugly.
Yes.
I want to go back to the Community Shield match against Liverpool. It was a game where he did what we know people like Mourinho do.
And
you understand? He allowed the opponents have the ball. And we will get the ball.
It's them on the break.
And when we get the ball,
we're going to be dangerous.
Very efficient with it. You understand? So that is what Arsenal have not done in so many years. You understand? They get a goal and you find them conceding just after scoring a particular goal. Or they are 2-0 up, they cannot hold their own. So if there is one thing he has brought to Arsenal, it is that grit. It is that ability to know that resilience, the mentality that, this is what we just need to do to get a win, or the mentality that the win doesn't have to be beautiful all the time.
It's just the 3 points.
At the end of the day, it is the 3 points.
Or progression into the next round.
So, and I think he has gotten a very good man management skill, which is why I think he has also been promoted from the role of the first team coach to that of a manager. Now his ability to be able to talk to the players, to get them to sign, get them comfortable. And we all saw what happened with Guendouzi last season. He got him benched, but now the guy is relaxed in the team, even over the transfers again that Chelsea is trying to get him and all that. I think he's doing what people like Ancelotti know how to do. You know, talk to players,
man-manage,
get them relaxed, you understand, and then, you know, get them settled. Win their trust and all that. So he's doing a very good job, I must confess. One major concern for me is just that I really, really hope that Arsenal back him up in the transfer market.
I'm going to come to that, but quickly let me touch on Klopp.
Okay.
Jurgen Klopp has done extremely well.
Fantastic job.
I mean, it's my goodness, it's done unbelievably. Like, it's been unbelievable. That's what I mean to say.
Of course.
And you and I, in one of our shows, questioned the fact that FSG, who are the owners of Liverpool, were unwilling to back Klopp.
If only we saw
that
this time coming.
Do you understand? And in just 2 days, 48 hours,
no one saw that coming.
No one saw it coming.
At least we saw that of Thiago coming and all that, but
Diogo Jota,
he
he just changed the whole landscape. I was arguing with a Liverpool friend of mine, an ardent fan, and I was telling him before the Thiago Jota thing, I was telling him best, third.
Of course.
Best. That was the best.
I also said that too.
The best was
third. I never tipped them to be able to defend the
title, the EPL title.
Yes.
But you know something very beautiful about football, or beautiful about clubs and managers and coaches like Klopp and teams that have been built like that of Liverpool. You just need 1 or 2 players and you are in contention again.
Of course.
The Thiago and Jota just... I'm telling you, if Man City does not... For me, Mr. Yao, I won't lie to you. If Man City don't do a madness in the next 8 days in the transfer market, for me, Liverpool wins the Premier League again.
I think, like we said, or we admitted, before now, we had ruled them out. I ruled them out completely. As well. You understand? But with what they have done, in fact, if you look at the front three now, you have Salah, you have Mane, you have Firmino. On the bench, you can still call
Origi,
on Shaqiri. You can call
Jota.
on Origi, you can now call on Jota. And these are good players. On their good days, they are good players.
Yes.
At least, if not,
frightening.
I remember Shaqiri's the corner kick against Barcelona. You understand? So that got Wijnaldum's goal.
Yes.
So they are making waves in the transfer market. They are doing a very, very good job. For me, I think if they only get just maybe a one defender again. Just one defender.
That's what I was
You understand? To make sure they cover up for Gomez and Matip.
Just to quickly touch on that, and I mean, let's just, since we're going to the transfer market a little bit, I'll quickly touch on Arsenal and we'll wrap up Liverpool, Arsenal. Jurgen Klopp and the defense. They've settled the left-back situation, bringing the left-back from Olympiacos. You have Williams who can play at right-back, Nico Williams.
Yes.
Do you think Van Dijk is on the decline? And the second part of that question is, do you actually think Liverpool needs to get a centre-half, decent centre-half? It doesn't have to be a world beater, but somebody who can partner Van Dijk or can learn from Van Dijk as well. Looking at the fact that Van Dijk is almost 30, and we can see even from their first game, considered 3 goals from Leeds United. Do you actually think that Liverpool should be looking at the centre half just to complete that
They
team?
should be looking at the centre half because for me, not that Van Dijk is totally on the decline. I think he's becoming lazy, lethargic,
or
sort
cocky.
of. You
Because
understand?
Carragher said something
Too
about being
confident,
cocky.
Yes, you understand? You know, he has the figure.
Yes.
He has the body.
Yes.
And then he looks at himself that I don't have to run too much or jump too much to be able to get the ball from the attacker.
He was questioned for most of the goals against Leeds.
Exactly. So I think they need somebody a John Terry type of defender, a Chiellini type of defender, who gets on the grass, block balls,
Ramos.
goes for the tackles and all that. Because if you look at Van Dijk very well, not to criticize him in any way, but he runs away from tackles.
Yeah, he does.
He dodges tackles.
Yes.
Especially when he comes up with big teams and
yeah.
he faces players who are very, very skillful. So he dodges tackles. So they need somebody who can get into those tackles. That's why I mentioned the likes of John Terry, the Kellini type of players.
Who fits that bill right now?
There are news circulating around that Liverpool is trying to play a game, trying to use Mane as the captain of the Senegalese national team
to get Koulibaly.
To lure Koulibaly into the team.
But my problem about that, Mr. Yao, I must confess to you, Koulibaly will be 29 this year.
Yes.
Van Dijk is 29 this year.
29.
That's not a succession plan for me.
It's not a succession plan, but I think if they do that, then they can bring in young players this season or next season, which I think they have already. Gomez is young,
yes.
You understand? Matic might not be so young, but I think having Gomez, you understand, they can also bring in other young players who will learn from these two.
The academy
these two at 29,
well,
these two at 29 now,
yeah.
I think they still have 3 or 4 years ahead of them again.
True,
you understand?
True.
And so even if they do not bring in from the academy, they can get other young players from other leagues who can learn from these two guys.
True. So let's just quickly move on to Arsenal. Arsenal Football Club, known for not spending money. It's, I mean, you know, I'm an Arsenal fan. It infuriates me.
It's a historical thing.
Oh my goodness, I'm so used to it now, and it's annoying. Thing. Honestly, it is pissing me off.
I don't know how much Jose Mora is.
How true it is.
And then Arsenal cannot.
Why are we
get
penny pinching? It's annoying.
There are a lot of these Arsenal can just do that will just make that team
so
solid.
Now, this is my question, Mr. Yao. What should we do? I keep on using the word we, like I'm the owner of Arsenal Football Club. What should Arsenal do to not win the league, but compete for the league? There's a difference between winning the league and competing for, at least you're in the race, up to say maybe March, February. People can see that with another 2 additions in 2021 market summer transfer, this team can, do something in 2021, 2022 season. What should Arsenal be doing this summer transfer market in the next 8 days?
Is what we have just said already. They should make the right transfers. And I don't see the reason why Arsenal cannot release such amount of money to be able to get those players. Up front already, I think they've done a very good job by keeping Aubameyang, signing Willian, and then they have young players who can learn from them.
Yeah.
There is Bukayo Saka, there is Pepe, there is Reece Nelson, there is Nketiah. Did I pronounce that name right? Of course. Nketiah. So those are players that can learn from these other 3 starters in the team already. For the defense, they have a veteran in David Luiz already.
Yeah.
They brought in a young Gabriel,
yes.
And then
Saliba as well, just joining.
So I think those players can fuse together to make a very good team. Yes, the pivot is where my issue is. You understand? With what Arteta is playing now, he's playing a 3-4-3 formation. It's a formation I think he will change when the needs arises. You understand?
Yes.
If he begins to play teams who uses a lot of
low
block, width and all that, I think he will adjust. But for now, he's just test running. Or if at all that is what he wants to stick with, I still believe he has a plan B in mind.
Just to reiterate or add to what you just said now about him having a plan B. I was seeing an interview where Willian says Mikel Arteta has a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And I'm so skeptical about the fact that the 3-4-3 for me, I was saying last week during our match review of the Arsenal-West Ham game, that I don't think the 3-4-3 is the formation. And you just said it now. It's a formation to use against teams like West Ham, Crystal Palace, who are going to sit back. And that's why the Awad deal or any attacking midfielder.
It is just that midfield pivot.
Yes.
That is the issue. And then they need workers.
Yes.
You understand? When I say workers, I mean players who can hustle
the ball.
Hustle, because
and that's where the Partey deal
is
very important.
Very important, because Xhaka will not give you what you want
at all
in terms of work rate and covering ground.
Give you the distributions and all of that.
But what I mean is players who will cover ground.
Yes.
There are players who can take on 2-3 midfielders at the same time.
When you see their hits map, you're
understand?
Like, it was all over the pitch. Like, what were you doing?
That is what Arsenal need. And that is what a Partey will give you.
Yes.
Jose Mora will give you.
He has
will
make
those runs.
Yes.
He might not even get the ball, but he will disturb. As the opponents are passing the ball, as the opponents are passing the ball, he's making that run. As the ball moves, he's making that run. So those type of things disturbs the opponent because they don't get settled. And we all know that the midfield is where the game is won.
Of course,
in the football.
Of course.
So if you get players who will not allow the opponents to settle in that midfield where they cannot put 2, 3, 4 intricate passes together, you understand? You are able to win the game.
Let's quickly just round up. We can talk
a lot about
I mean,
Arsenal.
it's interesting, and as well Liverpool, because what they've done in the last 4 years have been fantastic. Let's quickly move on to the surprise. I won't say they're a surprise because they won the league in 2016, but they've been a surprise in the last 4-5 years, and that's Leicester City. News reaching us this week is that Ndidi is going to be out for 3 months. And he has been deputizing as a centre back
in the absence of Evans.
Johnny Evans, and that already tells you Leicester are in need of centre half. And that's
and Evans is about 30 already.
He's 32.
32.
He's 32, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Kagla Soyuncu is the young defender, but he can't do it alone.
And they also have another young person, their former captain, Wes Morgan.
Wes Morgan is 36. So Christian Fuchs is actually a left back, but he has been deputizing as a left. Anytime he plays the 3-4-3, Brendan Rodgers now, he uses Christian Fuchs as the left centre back. But how long do you want to do that for? So already we know that Leicester City need a centre back, at least minimum of one.
I think they will. What's his name again? The coach,
Brendan
Rodgers, has done a very good job.
Of course, yes.
You can't question his tactics,
at all.
I think the Leicester hierarchy should be very happy with him.
Yes, of course they are.
And they've supported him so far in the transfer market. At least bringing in Castan from the Syria.
Both players from the Syria.
So they've supported him thus far. And I think they will get somebody at least to be able to deputize for Ndidi and Evans in the meantime till they return from injury. I think they will back him up.
Then, they're facing Man City this weekend, which takes us to Man City. They lost Leroy Sané, brought in Ferran Torres. Just this morning, I was reading about the Ruben Diaz, Otamendi swap deal.
Yes, with
Benfica. Yeah. Ruben Diaz is a highly rated centre back.
Of course.
Highly rated centre back. Portuguese international, and is a fantastic centre back, like I said. But the Premier League is a different ball game.
Of course, terrain.
It's a different ball game. They've got Laporte. They were able to sign Nathan Ake. They've done 2 decent business. Just like I said about Liverpool, they just need 2-3 signings, right? Yeah. And they are good to go. What do you think Man City need to actually be able to compete with Liverpool?
Up front, I think they are good. What I just think...
Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry to cut you short. Yesterday, you were the one who told me that Jesus is injured. Oh, sorry, you were not the one. A friend of ours told us. Sinech, actually, the man behind the camera, because we were talking yesterday, and he just told me Jesus is going to be out. And I was telling him about a Serie A player, your Serie A player, Lautaro Martinez. And I was saying, is that going to trigger Guardiola going for? Because, Aguero has just got 1 year left.
Yes.
You say what you want to say.
I wouldn't be too concerned or afraid. And that is because I think Guardiola can tweak things. He's done it before. Not when both strikers, Aguero and Jesus were injured, but he was able to tweak it and he got results. He put Sterling as a false 9, and he got him results. So I will not be too worried for City. I will not be too worried for them against lesser teams.
It's the big teams I'm worried about, because
against lesser teams.
There was a match he benched Gabriel Jesus, and this was against Chelsea, I think 2 seasons ago. It was Sarri. And Chelsea won that game by 2 goals to nil. David Lewis scoring the second goal and header from a corner. And in that game, he played Sterling as a false 9. I'm just picturing Sterling against a Zuma and Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Sterling against, as low as Maguire is,
and also the fact that sometimes he loses those chances.
Yes. He's not as clinical as Jesus or he's nowhere near Aguero as a front man.
Yes,
do you understand?
I agree. I totally agree.
So it's my question is that going to actually affect them?
Sometimes Guardiola can be very stubborn.
Yeah, he can.
He can be very, very stubborn.
A lot of managers can be very stubborn.
Very stubborn. I do not think Manchester City will go for a striker now, what they need, or what they want actually, they need a centre half. They need a defender. And then, if there is any other thing they should do in the transfer market again, is bring another combative midfielder, maybe for the declining Fernandinho.
But do you know I can actually play the devil's advocate in this? You said they need a defender, and you said a centre back.
A centre back.
You just brought in Nathan Ake, a left-footed centre back who can play as a left back.
Yes.
You have Aymeric Laporte. You've got Eric Garcia, who wants to leave for a big team like Barcelona. Why? Because he's not getting the guarantee that he's going to be playing. There's something Barcelona has seen in him for them to want him at 19. Everyone wants a young defender who can guarantee you the next 4, 5, 6 years.
6 years.
And you can sell for huge fee. Why is Manchester City, you just said it now, Guardiola is saying he's stubborn.
He's very stubborn.
Why can't he give him the conviction to actually stay? That's number one. You still have John Stones. Personally, I think they need a left back. Benjamin Mendy is nowhere near what he was when he signed in 2017. That's why
I begin to question why a player like Angelino was
allowed to go to Leipzig.
Was sent back on loan again
with obligation to actually buy.
Yes, on loan to Leipzig. And the thing is this. Guardiola has shown what you are asking. The question you are asking now is what Guardiola has shown with the way he treated Sane.
Of course.
You understand? He loses or he has lost trust in these particular players we are talking about. Otamendi is not a player Guardiola actually trusts. You understand? He's not even the ball-playing centre-back.
No, he's not.
And we know how Guardiola is so crazy about ball-playing centre-back. Now, John Stones can do that job. He can play the ball, but he's
not a good tackler.
Yes, he's not a good tackler. In fact, there were loopholes in the game against Wolves.
Wolves, yes.
You know, where I think he was just a bit off the pace. He was coming from injury training and all that, so a little bit off the pace. He can play the ball, but he's not a good tackler. And his injuries have not allowed him, you understand, settle into this Manchester
and move to the next level. We saw
exactly
move into,
and I'm sure Guardiola saw something in him
before he signed him.
50 million pounds. Yes. So I think with all these other players, Eric Garcia, Otamendi, and John Stones, I think Guardiola just have a little bit of resentment somehow. Reservation. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Not resentment. Reservation. In his mind, he doesn't trust them completely. You understand? If you have an Otamendi in your team, you have an Eric Garcia. I don't see the reason why you have to bring in a Fernandinho into the centre-back position again. That just shows that he had a little bit reservations for this player, even when fit. He would
rather use Fernandinho as a centre-back than use Otamendi and Stones.
You understand? So I think it's just the stubbornness of Guardiola, and which is why I think he needs a centre-back. And then, there are a lot of centre-backs. But Guardiola is just, there is something he's looking for. Something, I would say, utopian. Something he cannot... Sometimes we look at it and say, can you actually get somebody like this?
I was reading an article just about this morning about the Ruben Diaz and comparison with Jules Koundé, the Sevilla centre half, and Koulibaly. And honestly, he's not as good as a tackler as Jules Koundé. But there are things, just like you said, utopian about Guardiola. He prefers players of some particular who have particular qualities.
And then you are beginning to ask yourself.
But unfortunately, it backfires sometimes because it's the Premier League.
The Premier League, of course.
Sometimes, you just said it, you need a John Terry kind of centre half who is ready to put his body on the line.
And which is one of the things that helped him while at Barcelona then. He had a Carles Puyol. You understand?
Exactly.
He had a Piqué who could play the ball. And then he had a Puyol who could die anywhere in the pitch and all that. So, but if you look at him, after he left Barcelona, when he came over to Bayern Munich, he used both playing ball center halves. You understand? And he came to Manchester and he's trying to do the same thing again. But you find out that many great teams or many big teams do not play two ball playing same type of centre back.
Yes.
One is either a ball player
and the
other one is a rugged type. Look at the Juventus team. You have a Bonucci who plays the ball. I can tell you confidently that if Juventus wants Leonardo Bonucci to go, Guardiola will be his number one.
Of course.
Looking for he just loves that guy. And we know Bonucci plays the ball. He knows how to search for those passes from deep within and all that. So Guardiola cannot just have what he wants. He cannot have what he wants. Unfortunately, we have someone like Koulibaly who encompasses that character. He can play the ball and he can be rugged again, which is why they just want to get him by all means. But we know the Laurentiis. That's another story.
Another story for another day. Yes,
we know the Laurentiis. The problem they had with Jorginho there is what is.
And they're actually talking with the third party now to even get the Koulibaly. And according to what we heard this week, I think that it's in the
that deal is not going to happen. Or if it will happen, maybe 11:59 p.m. on the deadline,
on October 5th.
Exactly. Maybe that's when we wake up
to hear that Koulibaly just signed for ManCity. Yeah. But I mean, we're just saying now that Liverpool could actually steal the deal. I mean, Liverpool had deals stolen from them already.
Of course.
Chelsea being the culprit of that. Yeah. Let's just quickly touch on two other matches and we'll wrap up. And let me just say a surprise team. I won't say a surprise team, but what they've done in the market has been a surprise. Or let me say two surprise teams because of what the other team has done in the first two games. And that's the Crystal Palace Everton game. Everton has won the first two games. The first one 1-0 against a Spurs team. And the other game was 5-2 against West Brom. And you have another team, Crystal Palace, who won their first game against Southampton 1-0. With First responsible for the goal. And defeated Manchester United at Old Trafford by 3 goals to 1. So they're both on 6 points.
Of course.
And Roy Hodgson was asked the day before yesterday, and he was asked, is this your most talented squad? And it was by far. I mean, it's Crystal Palace most talented. I mean, if he gets Said Berhama from Brentford, it just makes everything perfect. He has Eberechi Eze, he has Schlupp, he has Andy Townsend, he has Andrew Ayew, Benteke is coming back.
And he has the guys who can get dirty too.
Of course, he has
the Milivojevic
and all of that. Kouyaté,
and the Schlopps and the rest of them.
Sako as well, the former Liverpool defender and all of that. Max Meyer in the midfield and all of that. How do you see that match? Or let me say, what do you make of Everton and where do you see them finishing? And what do you make of Crystal Palace and what do you see them finishing?
I think we're having two sides who play opposite football. Opposite football, I mean, Crystal Palace, they loop the balls. They go for long balls. Boogie team. They know how to... And if you look at their players, you can understand...
Boogie players.
But you have an Everton team that Ancelotti has come into. Yeah. They used to have that type of settings too. You understand? But, of course, the coach you have...
determines the kind
setting, exactly. So the Everton we are seeing now is an Everton, the real Ancelotti type of team, where the passings are calculated, movement is timed. You just see everything flowing. You understand? So I think it will be a very interesting game. James Rodriguez in that team is...
he unlocks the defense. In fact, he splits defense.
I'm just trying to look for the right word to just...
Yes, it's an enigma as far as I'm concerned.
And then you now begin to ask why Zinedine Zidane allowed such a player to go or could not tweak the formation or the setting at Madrid, because that was what Ancelotti did. When James came to Madrid, I'm sorry I'm digressing a little bit. When James came to Madrid, he didn't actually fit the settings that was there. But the coach looked at him, you understand?
Coach, in 2014,
The setting that was there, if you look at it, because Madrid play wide men.
Yes.
James drops into the hole. You understand?
Behind the striker.
He looks at it and said, okay, how do I play this guy such that he would fit into this team? He brought him into the midfield and made him the box-to-box guy, and then the job was just perfect. He did the same thing for him at Bayern Munich to just drop him into the hole behind the striker, and then he was just perfect. And that is what he's doing now. Although sometimes in the formation you see him on the wings, but when the game begins, you see how it drops into the hole, and then Koeman has this space to run into and all that. Except he wants to change the formation sometimes and bring in Walcott. You understand? But I think the tactics and the intelligence of this Everton team, because if you watch how they play, the play has changed.
Of course.
The way they move the ball has changed. It is now more of an intelligent kind of football
very
than
tactical
what we know
and technical.
The EPL for. Just move the ball, throw it to the next man, send it upfield and all that. Now, everything is calculated. And if you bring in players like Alan and James, you understand, they come from leagues where the kind of football they play...
Football is technical in Serie A, yes.
The kind of football they play is not just about running. Every pass, every movement, everything is all timed and calculated. that is why they always say sometimes the Serie A is just like you know, a tailor who measures you and just sews exactly that kind of football. So, but I think for the match that Crystal Palace is having against Everton today, if there is anything that would make Everton win today's contest, I think it would just be that sheer intelligence. Because if you also look at Richarlison's game, his game has improved.
And Calvert-Lewin as well.
Yes, their games have improved. The way they position themselves on the field of play, the way they move the ball also has changed.
Yeah.
So if there is anything that will get past Crystal Palace today, in today's match, which is what Manchester United failed to do, if there is anything that will get past Crystal Palace today, it will be the sheer intelligence of Ancelotti.
Yes.
You know, imparting it into his players. This is what you just need to do. This is how you need to move, and then we win the day.
Two things I just want to add to what you've said. Ancelotti is using his experience of being a Chelsea manager, infusing it with all he has learnt all over Europe, and just bringing it into it. And it was actually very funny yesterday while he was quipped about Calvert-Lewin's form. And he said, you can't have Sigurdsson, Ames, and Richarlison behind you, and
even a Gomez.
It was actually so funny that he said, if I play and I have Richarlison, I've got Sigurdsson and Ames, I will score.
Of course.
At 60. And everybody just started laughing at the press conference. And that's to tell you.
And which is another aspect of him. You know, the man management we talked about, that Arteta is also developing now. He makes players relaxed. You understand? He just lets them understand you can do this job.
I was going to come to that. Now that you just brought up the Arteta thing, and we'll round up on Everton and move on to the last game, which is Chelsea. And we'll talk about Havertz. And do you now feel, because just looking at the trajectory of Ancelotti, it seems it was on a spiral, it was on a decline, you know.
At some point.
Let's just say nosedive.
Yes.
But I actually feel he needed this wake-up call. Kind of. People say, what do I mean by wake-up call? You don't move from Bayern Munich to coaching Napoli.
Yes.
To now coaching Everton.
Yes.
But what we are seeing him do at Everton, as a Barcelona manager, am I looking at Ancelotti as somebody who can coach us in the future? Yes. As a Manchester United CEO, am I looking at Ancelotti as somebody who can stabilize my team? Yes. Because he has gone to his team. He has, but he needed that wake-up call. Because, I mean, you look at what happened to him at Bayern. It was horrendous. His second season wasn't it at all. And they needed Aikens to come and, you know, stabilize the team again. He had problems with Müller and the rest of them. And he went to Napoli, had problems with De Laurentiis, had problems with some of the players there. And the results were, I mean, Gattuso came to salvage the whole thing. But now he's at Everton and everything is taking shape again. So I think that was a wake-up call. So, things are beginning to seem like Arteta went to the right team. Ancelotti went to the right team.
One thing about Ancelotti is this. It is only players who understand him that can play for him. Why do I say so? When he was at AC Milan, he's a coach who he deals with champions. Yeah. And his coaching style is such that if you are not self-motivated, you might not be able to play under Ancelotti. That was the issue he had at Napoli. His coaching style is just that he's not the Guardiola type of manager.
That's stoic.
The Antonio Conte type of manager.
Rigid,
you have to put energy into this game and all that. He just tells you, come, this is where you need to move that ball. This is how this ball needs to go. And it gives you freedom on the ball sometimes. You understand? Which is why the likes of Ronaldo and Bale,
you understand?
Exactly. And just tells you, guy, explore. Do what you know how to do best. You understand? So if players who play under him are not self-motivated or do not ginger themselves up, you understand that this is what we need to do, sometimes they fail. And that is why some other teams have problems, or players have problems with his coaching staff, which is what Müller, Mats Hummels had problems. Those are the problems they had with him in the Bayern Munich team. Even Arjen Robben, you understand, had with him in the Bayern Munich team. Yes. Although some others were in favor of it.
Yes.
And if there is any question mark hanging over Ancelotti's head, it is this particular problem. You see, the Premier League is such that you need intensity.
Yeah.
You need that drive. You need that passion.
Yeah. Yes.
If you remember after when Ronald Koeman was booted and Ferguson came in, Everton's football changed. They played with
Marco
passion.
Silva.
Oh, was it Marco Silva? It was Marco Silva. Okay, Marco
yes.
Silva, sorry. Everton's football changed. There was passion. They brought back passion to Goodison Park. You understand? Now Ancelotti has come in and everything looks like it is calm a little bit. Not calm like, as in the way they play football now is like, just move this ball. This is how you need to be. You will get
Tactical,
the result. Sometimes it's
technical.
not, what he makes them understand is it's not all about this running and jumping and all that, which is the question mark hanging over his head.
But he's a serial winner. You can't deny that.
He's a serial winner. You understand? But sometimes you just need that, and which is why I think also that Ferguson was retained as his assistant manager.
Yes.
Sometimes he needs somebody like that to be able to ginger the
Englishman,
players. The Englishman said,
yes.
"Come, we need to do this, boys. Throw those balls in, send those balls high up the pitch, and all that." Ancelotti doesn't do that. Even when his teams are losing, he still makes them understand.
Let us play this
Let us play this ball. You understand? So if players who work under him are not the self-motivated type, you are losing 2-0. A proper Englishman will tell you, I want those balls in the what? In the other half, in the box.
And
I
in the
want
box,
those
actually.
balls. And he will
And
continue
you have
pointing.
players like Suchek, like Fellaini, tall.
Keep throwing that ball there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Ancelotti will not do that. He still tells his players, move this ball.
Let's move the ball and calculated
We will
passes.
get there.
Yeah,
Sometimes you might even throw. What he makes them believe is, you might just throw those balls and then you will not get the goal.
Aimless
we want to
passes,
play calculated
yes.
football. So if there is any question mark hanging over his head, for me, it is that particular aspect of his game, which is why I still think that irrespective of the business they've done, the good business they've done in the transfer market,
and they might still do, actually.
They might still do. They will push the regular teams into the top 4 places, but they might not be able to make top 4. Maybe Europa League position will be their best for the season.
So let's just run this up quickly. Chelsea West Brom.
They've been the talk of the season.
Yes, and they've been the talk not because people just want to.
No. But you know, as football fans, that's how they see it.
Aside from that, they're the talk of the season for a reason. Because no one, apart from Madrid, has done, and let's just say bar PSG as well, has spent so much money in a single transfer market. We're talking before Mendy. Before Mendy, it was 201 million pounds. Now it's about 223 million pounds. And according to reports I got this morning, we're talking about Declan Rice. Coming in as well into that team.
Declan Rice coming into that team will trigger
Jorginho, either Jorginho or Kante leaving. It would be stupid for them to let Kante go. And I think it would also be stupid for Arsenal to bring in Jorginho. As an Arsenal fan. So let me just be impartial a little bit there. I have to be honest with you. But let's see it this way. Let's take it this way. They played against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Havertz was dropped into that hole you're talking about, right, Mr. Yao? That Ames normally play. I know it's Barnsley, but he was terrific in that game.
Which is his
natural habitat. I always have problem with fans who always complain or actually don't like it when you actually talk about their team in not a negative light, but critique their team.
That's the spirit of the game.
Do you understand?
Even when teams are doing right, we'll still look for things
and
about them.
That's the fun of the game.
Look at Liverpool.
Of course.
They are doing right.
But we
still talking about
center,
them that,
center
these
back.
are the areas they still need to
improve
improve on. You understand?
Thank you very much.
So it's just part of the game. It is what analysts have to do.
It's our job.
I remember those days in schools where lecturers won't give you 100%. They tells you that, no matter how good you are, they won't still give you 100%.
Because it's what is scholarly work.
That sends a message to you as a student.
That you still need to work hard.
You still need to work hard.
There's still a lot.
Don't have the feeling that,
everything is all right.
Yes. Therefore, I'm okay.
Of course. And apart from that, just like you said, because football is not mathematics, like a lot of people actually think it is. Look at the Sevilla game. Though we're going to come to that in our European preview show of the weekend. Bayern's, it wasn't as easy as their Shaquille goal. They had it up to their neck. And that's really, to tell you by Sevilla. But let's stay on Chelsea. I used to tell, I told Chelsea fans since they signed Havertz that I feel is a duplication of Hakim Ziyech. Why go for Kai Havertz? I mean, if Sancho is for 120, between 110 and 120 million euros, and I'm hearing, of course, nobody knows the truth about the whole package, but I'm hearing the whole Kai Havertz deal is going to be 100 million euros. One thing Chelsea has lacked in the last 3
years, of
bonuses and all of that, add-ons and the rest of it. I'm of the opinion, and it's my opinion which I'm entitled to anyways, that just look at the last 3 games they played. They've lacked width. You're using Mason Mount on the wing, you're using Kai Havertz on the wing, you're having to use Loftus-Cheek.
I just want to say that I seriously hope Frank Lampard has learned his lesson. For the past 2 games. I think what he did against Barnsley is what I just think he should just continue doing.
Just continue.
He dropped Barkley and Kovacic in front of the back 4 and put Kai Havertz in the hole.
Yes.
He used 2 people behind him who are workers, who could run and make those runs, tackles, and the rest of them like that. Him trying to play a 4-3-3 formation, it means he has to drop Kai Havertz into the deep midfield role, where he has to come in from the back.
Ball.
Yes, pick the ball, exactly.
But do you think he can actually do that in the Premier League?
If he has to go with a 4-3-3, it means Kai Havertz will drop into the hole where he has to come pick the ball and then carry it forward again.
But what would be Kovacic? If Kovacic is in that 3? I think that's what Kovacic is there for, is the ball carrier.
That 3 would probably comprise of Kovacic, Conte, and Havertz.
So Havertz will not need to actually come back that much if Kovacic is the ball carrier. Kante is also a ball carrier.
I'm saying so because it depends on coaches anyway. Sometimes those type of formations always require a Kai Havertz or the player in that position, you understand, to come back. There are some times when those players will still need to carry the ball from the deep. As in, they collect the ball from back.
Like what Ames did against Spurs.
Get the ball from the back. He is not glued to that position. But sometimes the coach will give him instructions and say, because there are times when the opponent just sets up a block in that midfield, and then you need somebody who can drop and find holes. Kante cannot do that. Kovacic cannot do that. What they are predominantly for is tackles, make runs, cover grounds, man marking. You understand? Now there are people who are just slick, who know how to. Look at what Modric does for Madrid. Real Madrid. Yeah. There are times when he drops into the defense, get the ball from a Ramos or a Varane, and then sends the ball, sends it upfield. Those type of players just know how to open up those spaces. They have those eyes, they have that feet, those touch. Exactly. They know how to drop them. So if he has to go with a 4-3-3, it means Havertz will drop down, except he doesn't give him that instruction. But there are times when he will even need it as a player to come down, you understand, drop into those holes and then send the ball upfield.
But of what I've seen so far of Havertz, a lot of Chelsea fans would think it's my hatred for. I don't have any hatred.
I do not see him having that ability to drop.
Yes,
he doesn't.
One thing I've noticed in his game in the last 3 games is finding it hard to keep up with the speed and the strength, the tenacity of the Premier League.
A player who drops down like that must have strength. Because you need to have strength on the ball. Look at it, Thiago. He's strong.
As diminutive as he is. Yes.
He's strong on the ball. You can't get the ball from him anyhow. So those type of players, and like you said, Kai Havertz, he looks like this fragile type of player.
Ozil. Let's just say Ozil.
Ozil, exactly. You've mentioned the right character for Kai Havertz. Ozil.
Which is the problem we have with him
exactly.
at Arsenal, because he cannot drop in deep.
He can't drop.
If he loses the ball, the defense are in trouble.
He can't make those runs. He's only good up front. You understand? Look at what Mourinho used him for at
Real Madrid, yes.
Just give him the ball.
Ronaldo, he's looking for Ronaldo, yes.
You understand? He knows how to do that type of job.
In the final third, he's dangerous.
He knows how to do that type of job. And that is because he's not strong enough to cover those grounds, to make those markings. So if Frank Lampard is to go for a 4-3-3 formation, he's going to have issues with Kai Havertz in that particular role. Because also, those type of players too always need to help in the defense.
Of course. But
they need to help.
In his defense, even in the
he has
game,
scored a bit percentage.
He had
regard.
a high recovery percentage against Brighton. I mean, it was
for me.
that
I
game
think
was
what
not
Frank
was not
Lampard
good
just
enough
needs
for
to
him.
do is just to stick with a 4-2-3-1 formation. You understand?
That is playing with two pivots, somebody in the
and
hole,
then a width.
and the width.
The wide men.
Unfortunately, they don't have the wide men.
I am still questioning the reason why he has not been able to start
Odoi and give him
matches.
play time.
You understand? Like the game against Brighton, you could counter Lamptey by playing Odoi, such that
send him back to his own half.
You could counter him because he had somebody. He was playing against Alonso. You understand? And then we all know Alonso cannot run.
Yes,
he's not good on the run. So why don't you play Odoi, who would always counter him or drop back to help Alonso in defense, such that when Lamptey is with the ball, he has two men
people
in front
to confront.
of him.
Yeah,
you understand?
Of course.
I'm just questioning, why has Lampard not been playing Callum Odoi in the matches, or starting him, or giving him enough game time? So those are the questions we are asking. Well,
I'm tipping them to win West Brom because West Brom has been really.
They've lost their opening two
games. Slavan Bilic is not going to be on the sidelines for the next three matches. He has been fined as well for confronting the manager in the game because he questioned the red card.
Referee.
Yeah, the referee. I beg your pardon. So that's our show for today, our lovely fans. Hope you've enjoyed our match preview for the weekend of the EPL games. Make sure you look out for our other shows. I think we would actually be putting out other content.
Of course.
On the European preview show, and also we'll actually be having the review as well during the week for all the shows. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe if you're new on the channel. And make sure you like. Make sure you comment.
You share.
And you share as well. Make sure you tell us everything.
Yeah, your feel.
Your feel. Tell us what you think we should actually add to the show, and catch you next time. Bye.